My first question is a clarification with the sheriff's office. I know you just said that the Lake County, that the Madison responds out in Lake County to assist the deputies. Do the deputies also come and assist Madison in town? Are our deputies covered then? I would like to know. Because I think and understand that they've also helped assist Madison in town. My second question is, and it's kind of to the Sheriff's Department and probably to the Lake County Commissioners. I'm a rural resident of Lake County, and we have a very large territory. There's lots of miles. And I want to make sure that the budget dollars are providing the Sheriff's Department, Dispatch Center, and the ambulance service to be accurately staffed to ensure a precise and a quick response to emergency in all four corners of our county. What are you guys going to do to ensure the safety of all the rural residents to receive the quickest possible emergency services and keep it within budget here in the Lake County?
The Sheriff's Office does help the City Police Department. In fact, the Sheriff's Office has jurisdiction in the county, which includes Madison, South Dakota. If a city police officer is tied up, or officers are tied up, which you were this past weekend, we had a deputy respond to an medical emergency at the high rise. So yeah, we do help each other out in the city of Madison. Rural emergency. I have a deputy on duty 24/7, and some are on call with the other deputies that are working. I only have 4 deputies. I don't have 10 patrol officers or 10 officers. So there is somebody available all the time in the rural community as far as the sheriff's office is concerned. And the city police do go out and help us once in a while. Years ago, when I was a deputy, we tried to cross-deputizing each other's unit or departments, and it didn't work. That's all I can say about it.
In regards to the cross-deputization of the officers, what I'm talking about is we don't make it a routine to respond to the county on your average calls. What we respond on is emergency backup calls. I went on one here about 4 months ago to back up a deputy on the south end of the county. And when you're responding on an emergency call, when a deputy or another officer says, I need help and I need it yesterday, you're going. And you're running fast, you've got licensed siren going, but you're not completely covered, even with those in operation. And that's what I'm referring to when I say, if you get an accident or if you get there and have to exercise some use of force in any way, you might be kind of hanging yourself out there on a personal liability level. That's kind of something that's up in the air. But if you cross-deputize, that's not a problem. And just because there was a problem many years ago with it, it doesn't mean that that's still the issue today. Both agencies have progressed, have become a lot more professional, and I think it's something that's easily handled with the officers that we have now. In regards to the response to the county, I kind of got to disagree a little bit with Sheriff Hartman's assessment there. Deputies aren't on 7 days a week. There are nights where there is no coverage at all. Granted, there's somebody on call, but you got to call them, wake them up, get them out of bed, get in uniform, hop in their car and drive. Well, by the time they've done all that, you're looking at maybe a 10, maybe in a 15-minute gap before they can respond. I would advocate for better scheduling of the deputies to allow for 7-day-a-week coverage. I don't know that 24-hour coverage is possible given the amount of staffing that we have, but certainly 7-day-a-week coverage is not something that is unattainable. Like I said, that's so important to our residents to be able to have that because there's a lot of things that happen in the nighttime hours. Thefts, burglaries, domestics, you name it, most crimes happen in the evening hours. And I think it's imperative that we have somebody available to immediately respond to those calls. Thank you.
In response, we work together well, and we do, like Jason described, we do go out there. And we are, as a police officer, you're left a little bit hanging. Responded to Whiteworth one time, guy was doused himself with gas, standing there with the lighter. if he would lit himself at the house that he's standing next to because he doused everything, what's my liability when I tackle him? You know, if something happens, what if I'm injured? What if he's injured? That's what we're talking about, emergency response, cross-deputization. I think it's something that needs to happen. Now, responding to an emergency out in the county, you call the deputy or you call the sheriff's office. If it's January and we got a foot of snow on the ground and the deputy needs to get out to, you know, Pelican Point for a domestic or, let's say, bad accident, he's going to go outside, jump inside his Crown Victoria and not go very far. I think that we need to progress to four-wheel drive vehicles, have them available in the department, so if there's a situation dealing with weather, we can make it out there. We can be there. They can light and marked units and have them available for officers to use, the deputies to use. No need to call for a snowplow or wait for a snowplow to respond to an emergency. 24-hour coverage, we can work on it. We can make people available. Like Jason and I have both said, you know, we're going to be visible working sheriffs. I mean, we're not going to be tied down to the office. We have a secretary in the office. We have cell phones. We have radios. We don't need to be sitting in the office. We both plan, if one of each of us was elected, if we were elected, we're going to be out in the county working. We're going to be out there visible, and you know what? They're going to know who we are. My plan is, a lot of people here, I look around, and I've met almost everybody in here. Maybe 5 of you. I don't really know, but I recognize you. And that's probably a good thing. 18 years here as a Lake County resident gives us that benefit. It gives us the opportunity to conversate. So yes, can we be better? Yes. Can we work at it? Yes. Emergency services need to happen, and you just take a better prepared department, and that helps. Thank you.
Being a wife of a police officer or a sergeant on the Madison Police Force, for that many years, what I have seen what happens when they get called out in the middle of the night. It's very important, very, very important that we do have a good working relationship together between the police department, sheriff department. I've seen it, it's gotten much, much better. The response time, I agree with the police officers here that it is very essential that someone who is on duty right now responds or gets to be able to respond to these events, and that sometimes, not always, I've seen through the years that it seems like there's, the police officers are some of the first people to respond, even before the ambulance gets there. And they have equipped themselves with better equipment to help people out. And it's a good thing that we have all the entities working together, and I feel that would be a good route to go. Thank you.
As far as the commissioner's standpoint, you know, the department heads come to us at budget time with budget requests and put out kind of what they're requesting and what they need to do. And then we make the decision from there if they've adequately budgeted for the necessary thing. Our first and foremost job as commissioners is to take care of you people in the county. We are your caretakers. And if we needed to add additional help, or we needed to have part-time deputies or whatever to make sure that you were taken care of, we would do that. Now, whether we would do that by adding to the budget or cutting something else from the budget, I don't know, because, you know, we would look at both avenues. As far as the ambulance service run through the hospital, when Ron and Tammy came and met with us at budget time and said, you know what, guys, we need to buy a new ambulance, and the cost of ambulances are going up considerably. And we'd like to ask you guys for $2,500 more this year because we need to keep this equipment current. We need to take care of the people in our county. Without any hesitation, we said, we agree. We want to give you the additional $2,500. We want good ambulance service for these counties. Previously, before coming to Lake County, I was a commissioner in Weimar County where we were responsible for running the ambulance and trying to find the volunteers and trying to fund the ambulance and all this stuff. So I'm very grateful that we run our ambulance through the hospital here, because I know the hassles of trying to get a volunteer ambulance and make coverage for all the time. So we would make sure you were taken care of. With that said, have you had a problem?
No, but sometimes I think us in the rural area fear a little bit on just the response time of an ambulance. So especially if you are in the corner, you know, by number or whatever, you know, just sometimes you have to wait for, you know, the sheriff's department or just your local volunteer fire departments, and then to call an ambulance, or, you know, sometimes I think we just have a fear that just the response time is.
Well, I think with the volunteer thing and like the fire department thing or something like that, it is tough to, I mean, you can't make these people sit and wait for the fire whistle to blow. I know when I was in Carthage, I was a volunteer fireman, and you go as quick as you can and you get as many people and you do what you can do. But certainly we will take care of you.
In the past, I know we have hired an extra deputy to cut down on overtime costs. A lot of it is scheduling. We still work within the budget. Roger comes before the commission with his budget, and we do our best to meet everything we can and try to make you as safe as possible. Unfortunately, like you say, if you're out on the end of the county, like I am, there's a longer response time. You can have a deputy on patrol, but he might be on the other end of the county, and a lot of times I don't know if it'll be a police officer, but you might have a highway patrolman there possibly before the deputy. But everyone works together. We try to do as best you can. Unfortunately, a lot of times in the county, you react instead of being proactive with what monies we have. But we try to do the best we can.
Well, speaking from experience, I've been out by Winfred, and mother-in-law, she fell down, broke her arm. That we called the ambulance, and it took forever for him to get there. It seemed like forever. And I guess the only thing that I can say to, you know, is make sure our emergency, you know, equipment is, we want to keep that up. You know, it's getting better all the time with the cell phones. You know, the response time should be getting quicker as the technology progresses. And I feel just we got to keep up with the time, you know. And I know when you have a situation, it seems like it takes forever. But I do the best I can. That's all I can say.